and that is, you shall not commit adultery. You know, the idea that we need stable families in society, that the family unit is very important for harmony in life.
Yes, and that's one of the things that actually, if you look at the introduction of the welfare state, you see what's happened in some of our communities because of that. You know, you have the rise of gangs and murders, and you have the rise of theft, and you have that because the commitment, the covenant between a man and his wife is broken. Well, that's symbolic of the covenant between a believer and God. And so that gets broken, and pretty soon you don't have anything going on. There's no guidance, there's no control over things, and it becomes just a society of anarchy. And the foundation of society is married couple. That's what it's founded on, is having that, and the children being raised by them. And there's studies and studies and studies about what happens with kids that are raised in single parent homes and the difficulties they have. One of the things that we hear at men's breakfast all the time is we have all of these young girls that are being raised up without a Christian man in the home, and they don't know what a Christian man looks like. And so when they get to be adults, they'll marry anybody that comes along, and then they just perpetuate this whole problem of this. But it's where the breakdown of society comes from, I believe, is the breakup of the family, of the nuclear family.
Right, absolutely. It is a situation where God had an intended way for family units to thrive, and there's a reason why we have a man and a woman as parents. And that's not to say that a single parent is not good or wrong or immoral. It's just not ideal.
Yeah.
God
the single parent has to both be mother and father. They're occupying two roles in that.
Right. And this gets down to some of these same-sex parenting situations. The problem is that it's not ideal, and it's not beneficial to the children. And we know that the future is in our children. Everybody knows this. Jesus was so emphatic about this. Do not suffer the little children to come to me. Mm-hmm. As such is the kingdom of heaven. I mean, the emphasis there is so dramatic. And you look at where, I look at this in two ways where we've got negatives in our society. One is that where there is not peace in the home and you do not have a godly parenting situation, these things will manifest in a person decades later. Mm-hmm. You get these people that are coming into Christian counseling, for example, with sin issues, and when it finally gets peeled back and back and back and back, it goes back to some sort of abuse in the home, for example. Mm-hmm. And these people carry this, regrettably, for years. Some of it is so bad that people put it out of their memories, and then they don't understand why they've got these behaviors they can't seem to control, and they go back and all of a sudden they're remembering things that they didn't want to remember. Okay, so that's a bad thing. The other thing that I personally experienced is in street ministry. Because if you go and you start talking to these homeless people, you're going to hear this over and over again about, well, why are they out there? What do we do about this? Why are all these people in tents? What is going on here? Now, we can finger a lot of things, but the one common denominator that I've personally found out when I can have enough of a conversation with someone is that there's been a breakdown in the family. There's not a family support system. And the reason they're out there, now, it may be because they've been on drugs and they've stolen and their family can't handle it anymore and they get kicked out. But the fact remains is that there was a breakdown in the family unit and there was a lack of support because of that from the family unit. And that is why we cannot allow our lust to interfere with our family relationships. And so while we're on that topic, we can't leave this without tackling at least a little bit the 800-pound gorilla, and that is homosexuality. And this comes up and up and up, and I've thought a lot about this. I've listened to a lot of these videos. Maybe you've seen some of these things where you get a preacher out there and the Rainbow Coalition is after him, and there's this screaming that goes on, and you know, how can you deny love and all the rest of this stuff, and so we need answers for this, and I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but an answer that I do have for this is that we seem to be conflating lust with love. In other words, God isn't saying a man shouldn't love another man or a woman shouldn't love another woman. Of course that should happen, but we're not taking it to that point where it's sinful. And we'll keep this for little ears, but I mean, the point is that I think we all understand that we can have enduring, close, meaningful relationships with someone of the same sex that does not involve homosexuality. And so when somebody is saying, how can you do this? Look, don't conflate lust with love. Don't confuse these two things. Yes, you should love this person. Of course you should. But don't take it to that level, because God says that that's not in the order of things. That's not how He has designed humanity. Plain and simple.